But you people have no idea how lucky you are. When I'm gone, you're all going to be broke. My intention to run for a fourth term as President of the United States. I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again. They're fighting for a big piece of cheesecake. Very delicious beef tenderloins, very special beef. And I want you all to know that Bobby Kennedy, who's right here, personally ran over the cow in his car.
This is the US president's first time addressing the press corps at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. His time in April cut short when an alleged gunman rushed through the security checkpoint of the Washington Hilton Hotel and opened fire. 3 months on, a chance to deliver a speech described by his press secretary as unifying yet vicious.
Just like my presidency, the second time is always better. It's always better. And the third time will be better yet.
Of the some 680 guests in attendance at this Correspondents' Dinner redo, there were some notable absences, including the First Lady, Melania Trump, and also the Vice President, J.D. Vance.
Looking forward to 2028, Trump 2028.
You want to see Trump run again in 2028?
He'll win.
But would you be okay with him running for a third term?
I have no problem with that at all.
Even if it's against the Constitution?
I don't believe it's against the Constitution. I believe there's other routes there.
And what would those routes be?
I don't know. I'm not a constitutional lawyer.
But if it was against the Constitution, which it is, would you still be in favor of it?
I'm not in favor of breaking laws, no.
Okay. So no Trump 2028?
Trump 2028.
All right.
He said, you people don't have any idea. When he's gone, you're gonna be broke. I think that's why he doesn't want to go. He thinks that he made Americans rich, yet some miss meals, some eat 1 meal a day. So let's watch what this Donald is talking about. And he said this.
But you people have no idea how lucky you are. When I'm gone, you're all going to be broke. Your business model is going to be finished. No, it's true. When I'm not around, you're going to be broke. There's not going to be anybody to report on. Nobody gives a damn about anybody else.
I think President Trump is right. When he leaves office, the media will go broke. They have completely centered every bit of the news around Donald Trump. He seems to be the only person the media is interested in. These people aren't reporting the news. They are personally attacking the president daily. They have actually created quite the quagmire for themselves. They don't care about any other person except Donald Trump. President Trump is living rent-free in their heads. It was the same way during his first term. After the president left office, the media ratings plummeted. We will see the exact same thing happen this time. I think they will continue to report on President Trump even after he leaves office because Trump makes their ratings. As far as what the president said last night about journalist Caitlin Collins, I think Collins should stop hiding behind the disguise of journalism. She uses journalism to personally attack the president. That's not news. That's pure bias. And before you guys start in my comments, I am not the media. I am a private citizen. I have a right to bias. Y'all have a good day. God bless you.
If you think Trump is serving a third term, you're delusional. I can already see the comments, so bring it at me, but hear me out on this. I know Trump said he's going to run for another term and everyone's freaking out and he's not joking, and I don't think he is. But he is not going to serve a third term as president. Number one, look at the man. Do you think he's well enough to finish this current term? I don't think his health is even going to allow him to finish this one, let alone another 4-year term. Then there's the issue of constitutionality. And I know here's where you guys are going to say, he ignores the laws, he doesn't care, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. If you're going to start picking and choosing which constitutional amendments you're going to follow, then none of the constitutional amendments are valid. Then who's to say the Second Amendment can't be taken away? We're just going to ignore that. How does that crowd feel about it now? Oh, we're going to ignore the one that says there are term limits for presidents, but not the one that gives us the right to bear arms, okay? No. That's not how any of this works. And if he does decide to run a campaign, again, I don't think his health is going to allow it. it's not going to stand up legally. The courts are the last line of defense. And you know what? Even if he does, we still got Barack Obama, y'all.
Our man-child of a president who today again woke up, you're right, with another tantrum and was able to double down on the sentiment that has been true every day that he's been there, is he does not give a rat's ass about Americans, about the cost of living, about whether we're able to afford it. And we know now there's a consistent theme. He could care less. That's what he continues to communicate to us in no uncertain terms, is that he could care less. And so on a day where he could have done the honorable thing, to honor the work that's been done here, to actually think for just one day about the American people and what it would take for them to live and to afford the cost of housing, and he once again failed us. He has failed us again and again. The betrayal is so deep and so rich. You know, while he and all of his friends are in their continuing smash and grab, where they have loot hanging all out of their pockets, he has enriched himself, enriched his family, enriched his friends, and can't do a damn thing for the American people and could care less.
You are all severely underreacting to Donald Trump last night saying he's planning on running for president in 2028. It's not a joke. We shouldn't treat it as such. And before I show you video proof, which I'm about to do, if you're on the left, repost, share, spread this to as many eyes. And if you're on the right, because a lot of you are that follow me, please don't tune me out. Hear what I have to say after I show you this video.
And announced my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a fourth term as President of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official. In fact, I think I have. I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it. It should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times. Did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk.
And a lot of you are conservative or on the right, but you still give me a chance to make my case. Please don't tune me out and go, Hunter, he's just joking. He's not. He is not. Okay, members of his own cabinet last year were talking about him running for president in 2028, and they were like questioned, you know, by journalists saying that's not constitutional. And then last year they said, oh, we're finding a workaround. And this year his administration is putting out multiple policies that makes it harder to vote in elections. Additionally, yeah, he might be saying it in a humorous way, but that is to trick people like you into believing that he's not entirely serious when he is. This is authoritarianism. This is a dictatorship that we are sliding into, and we have to stand up now, or else what will our Constitution stand for? What will our country stand for?
You think Trump will get a 3rd term? Isn't that constitutionally illegal?
There are things that are unconventional and immoral and wrong and evil and dangerous. And there are certain things that are illegal. Trump getting a 3rd term is not illegal. So let me explain the loophole. What Trump could do is this, okay? There are 2 possibilities. The first possibility is in 2028, he has his son, Don Jr., run as the president, and he runs as the vice president. And then when Don Jr. wins, if he wins, then Don Jr. could abdicate and Trump would be the president. And in the Constitution, if you read the Constitution very carefully, it doesn't actually prohibit people from doing that. It's not been done in the past. And like no sane person with any morality would do this. But that doesn't stop Trump from doing this, okay? That's one possibility. Another possibility is that by 2028, America is at war with everyone. There's a national draft. The president now has emergency war powers. And so he can actually suspend the Constitution and delay the election, which is what Zelensky did in Ukraine. So these are 2 different possibilities. But I think that given Trump's track record, given his personality, I think he very much wants a 3rd term. And I think that he will do everything possible to get a 3rd term.
Donald Trump, you sorry son of a bitch. 2 bags of groceries for $46. I run into my constituents at this store every few days. And they all complain about your bullshit economy, and rightly so. You have fucked the American people, and we deserve so much more than your piece of shit Trump economics. The only thing you've ever said true is what you said yesterday. You don't give a shit about what you've done to our pocketbooks because you don't go to the grocery store, you piece of shit. You're worthless. You're worthless. And the American people deserve so much more than this garbage. And I hope that everybody that voted for you now fucking finally figures it out. That they got scammed.
Who's it going to be? Is it going to be JD? Is it going to be somebody else? I don't know.
President Trump just brought up one of the biggest questions inside Trump world while hosting a dinner in the Rose Garden on Monday night. And that question is, who will be the 2028 Republican nominee?
Okay, let's go. You ready? Who likes JD Vance? Who likes Marco Rubio? All right. Sounds like a good ticket. JD and that was a perfect ticket.
Now, the president conducted an informal poll based on the attendees' applause inside the Rose Garden. But the fact that he even asked that question out loud in public while he knew reporters were in the Rose Garden shows that it's also something he's been asking, according to our sources, in private, whether or not it will be J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. Now, J.D. Vance has long been seen as the heir apparent to President Trump, but Rubio's high profile since becoming Secretary of State and taking on many roles inside the Trump administration has only raised that question even for people serving inside the administration and who are in Republican circles in Washington. The president showed how real that speculation is with his question, though he also suggested the two of them could run on a joint ticket together.
By the way, I do believe that's a dream team, but these are minor details. That does not mean you have my endorsement under any circumstance.
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation.
What'd you make of that?
Yeah, that's bullcrap.
I think that's a true statement. Because, of course, he's not thinking about us at all.
I did vote for Trump. Seemed like a lot different, in the beginning. I'm not fully against everything, but, more currently with the way things are going, I don't agree with. I don't think we should be in this war.
He doesn't care about our situation. He doesn't. He's just here for pride and ego. He's not lying, and he proves it. Not only that, but also like food stamps and other stuff. He does not care about our financial situation. He cares about giving himself a name. When he says that he's not thinking about Americans' financial situations, what do you make of that?
I think sometimes he comes across, he doesn't always come across, he's a little raw, a little rough around the edges. So just because he says something in a certain way, I don't think he means that he doesn't care about people. I don't believe that for a minute.
I mean, I think that when you're someone who grew up with a certain amount of money, you're going to be out of touch. You're going to live in a completely different reality than other people. When you have no idea what it's like to actually have to work for a dollar, you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Of course, the American pockets don't mean anything to you.
Our gas prices went up because he got us there. And now, what's he doing to get them back down?
Earlier this week, President Trump floated running for president again in 2028. Are you comfortable with those comments? And you're a constitutional lawyer. Would that violate?
Well, there is the 22nd Amendment. It's been a great run, but I think the president knows, and he and I have talked about the constrictions of the Constitution, as much as so many of the American people lament that. The Trump 2028 cap is one of the most popular that's ever been produced, and he has a good time with that, trolling the Democrats, whose hair is on fire about the very prospect. But I do believe that we've got 3 extraordinary years ahead of us, and the 2 years of the Trump administration are going to be an incredible thing. And I don't see a way to amend the Constitution because it takes about 10 years to do that, as you all know, to allow all the states to ratify what 2/3 of the House and 3/4 of the states would approve. So I don't see the path for that.
One night you go to sleep and the next morning you wake up and you find out that Trump just announced his candidacy for 2028 for a 3rd term. He wants to do a 3rd term directly in defiance of our Constitution because the 22nd Amendment does not allow him to do that.
Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it again. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it.
So Trump keeps joking, not really joking, about running for a 3rd term as president of the United States. And here I'm going to break down for you what his logic is, or the logic that's been told to him, and whether or not he actually stands a chance at doing exactly that. So under the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution, it says very clearly that no person shall be elected president for more than 2 terms. The word elected is where all of the mischief is ensuing. So people like this guy, Al Dershowitz, who's actually a Harvard law professor and was once very well respected in the legal community, but has now lost his mind. Anyway, he focuses on that word elected because there are ways to become president without actually being elected in the way that you and I think, i.e. a general election. If a person can become president without being elected under a general election, people think that's a way to loophole around the 22nd Amendment. What's a way that a person can become president without being elected? Well, you can become president if, for example, you're vice president and the president dies. You can also become president if you are Speaker of the House and you succeed to the role of presidency through the Presidential Succession Act. But here's why that's so unlikely to happen. Number one, in order to be a vice president, you must be eligible to be a president. That's the 12th Amendment. In other words, a person who is 32 years old or not born in the United States cannot serve as either the president or the vice president, because baked into the role of vice president is the possibility that he will have to succeed to the presidency. Under the 22nd Amendment, you are ineligible to be president if you've already been elected to that twice. It's the same thing for Speaker of the House. Under the current statute, you have to be qualified to be an acting president in order to succeed to the role of the president from the Speaker of the House position. As you probably know, you don't need to be 36 years old or born in the United States in order to be Speaker of the House. But if you want to succeed to the role of presidency from that position, Speaker of the House, you do have to meet all of the eligibility requirements, including the fact that you cannot have been elected to the role of presidency more than twice. Now, there's this third scenario wherein the president gets chosen by the House if there's a deadlock in the Electoral College. House then gets to choose the president, but that selection process is done by voting inside of the House, and therefore the word elect still becomes operative in the 22nd Amendment. The 22nd Amendment doesn't say he cannot be elected through a general election twice. And if there is a vote, even if it's behind closed doors in the House of Representatives, that's still an election. As a result, the 22nd Amendment still stands as a bar to a third presidency, even in that strange third scenario. Now you can watch part 2 on my thoughts on whether it could still happen and why Trump keeps joking about it if it can't.
Donald Trump does not want us to have another election, and he's not even trying to hide it. If his Trump 2028 hat wasn't enough, take a look at his comments at a recent rally in Pennsylvania.
Maybe we should run again too.
He knows a third term is unconstitutional, but he doesn't care about the law. He only cares about himself. We cannot give him an inch. We need fighters in Washington who are going to be a true check on this president, and that's exactly who I'll be.
Do you see yourself running again in 4 years?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I think that will be it. I don't see that at all. I think that hopefully we're going to be successful.
Something I hear a lot from liberals is this idea that once Trump gets out of office for like dying or seceding or whatever, things can go back to normal. Like once Trump is out of office, that we can go back to business as usual, our regular democracy, hip hip hooray, everything will be fine. I literally cannot express how incorrect and dangerous this line of thinking is, and dare I say, why we are in this situation in the first place. To say that Trump is an anomaly, a one-off, like a random situation, and we can just get him out of office and then go back to normal, neglects decades of strategizing, of planning, of myth-making by the right to maintain political power. One of the major reasons that Trump got elected in 2016 was because of the housing crisis in 2008, where Americans were experiencing real economic struggles and real fear of being left behind and started to look to a right-wing populist figure to solve their problems. And before the housing crisis, we can look to the 80s and 90s, the era of neoliberalism, Reagan, Thatcher, the consolidation of wealth at the top, the lie of trickle-down economics, where people actually saw their real wages stagnate while the rich got richer, the deregulation that allowed subprime loans and predatory lending to even exist, which is why we had the housing crisis. We can look to the war on drugs, the way to criminalize people of color. The myth of the American dream that if you just work hard enough, you can have success, you can have a house, you can have your family, even though that reality is damn near impossible in 2026. The offshoring of domestic labor, the rise in immigrant women performing domestic tasks in America because you could pay them less than you would pay for white women, which then allowed the right to criminalize and demonize immigrants and create anti-immigrant sentiments, which is how they're holding on to power now. And before Reagan, we can look to Nixon and the Southern strategy and the lie told to white Southerners that if black people got rights, there would be less rights for white people, and so they had to oppress people of color so that white people could maintain their perceived place in the social hierarchy. We can't just assume that things will get better if and when Trump loses office, because there has been a mastermind plan since 1950 to allow the right to consolidate and maintain political power at the expense of working class people. We need to know our history so we stop fucking repeating it.
He's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me. On the one hand, you've said the Constitution is fit for purpose. Secondly, you've said that President Trump needs another term, even though the 22nd Amendment makes pretty clear that he cannot have another term.
Why does it make that clear?
Because he's on his second term already.
At some point in time, we will make sure we go through Zanny and define all those terms.
But you will be undermining the spirit of that amendment, even if you find some way around it.
If the American people, with the mechanisms we have, put Trump back in office, are the American people tearing up the Constitution? Would that be tearing up?
Well,
would the American people be going against the spirit of the Constitution, ma'am?
I think yes, actually, because I think what you will end up with is a populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
That's not true at all.
That's what it sounds like.
Trump is a dictatorship. Did you just see the compromises he had to make on the big, beautiful bill? You see the compromises he has to do on everything, on accommodating Zelensky, on what President Trump. President Trump is nothing but a series of negotiations to kind of keep this thing rolling forward, where he's having trade-offs all the time.
But Steve, you've just spent the last 20 minutes telling me we have to smash the other side. There's no room for debate. There's no room for compromise. We must smash them. And now you're telling me this is a negotiation. I mean, that's
no.
I guess that's why there seems to me some kind of tension
First
there.
Off, the only way President Trump wins in 2028 and continues to stay in office is by the will of the American people. Okay? And the will of the American people is what the Constitution embodies. And so I think we're going to be in good hands there. We need to finish what we started.
Watch this.
So I know a lot of you liberals were probably triggered last night when Donald Trump put on the Trump 2028 hat and said what he said. But I got one thing to say to you. I think you would have been even more triggered if you thought of the possibility that maybe he wasn't joking. Buckle up, buttercups. Have a great day.
I would love for him to run again. That'd be fucking amazing. Hey, if you want to put your money on a geriatric dementia patient with a 35 approval rating and an active war going on, and you have to break the Constitution just to run, more power to you, dude. And don't forget, he barely won in 24, and his circumstances were so much better than they are right now. He was the challenger against a person who had 100 days to string together a whole new campaign after the previous candidate sundowned on live television, and the administration was unpopular to begin with. The difference between now and then is so much worse. And again, he barely won given all those advantages back then. So if you really want him to run again, go for it, dude. Trot his fat ass out there. You want to change the Constitution? We'll just bring Obama back. How's that going to work out for you?
This is terrible.
The Trump organization is selling hats that say Trump 2028.
Yeah.
Are you seriously considering a third term, Mr. President, even though it's prohibited by the Constitution? Or is this about staying politically viable?
I will say this. So many people want me to do it. I have never had requests so strong as that. But it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do. I don't know if that's constitutional that they're not allowing you to do it or anything else, but there are many people selling the 2028 hat. But this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have 4 great years and turn it over to somebody, ideally a great Republican, to carry it forward. But I think we're going to have 4 years, and I think 4 years is plenty of time to do something really spectacular.
The Constitution does prohibit it. Some of your allies are pretty serious about this, though, Mr. President. I've spoken to them. They say they are coming up with potential ways.
Well,
obviously, the biggest one would be a constitutional amendment.
That's because they like the job I'm doing, and it's a compliment.
Has anyone in an official capacity presented you with, sir, here are some ideas by which you could actually get a constitutional amendment?
Well, in a capacity of being a big supporter, many people have said different things, but I'm not looking at that.
This is not a joke. Donald Trump stated he is running for president in 2028. He is on video saying it. He just said it tonight. I'm going to show you the video. But all I got to say about this is if the Constitution doesn't matter anymore, then Mamdani, you should run for president against him. Here we go.
We are all doing good together. That's why tonight, to show just how much I care about the press, and I want to save your ratings, I'm pleased to announce my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a 4th term as President of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official, in fact, I think I have, I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it. You know, it's interesting, when you come back and you do a good job like we did, you don't care about it so much, but we do have to tighten up these elections because they really are in seriously bad shape.
Because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it, too. It's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things, they can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing, military protection.
Watch this.
Before he got in office, all those criminals coming in here, he closed the border.
I love my country, and I hate what is happening to it.
He's a grifter, liar, manipulator. Seeing the treatment of American citizens is concerning.
He's the best one we've had since Ronald Reagan.
We came to North Carolina to visit some small and rural communities considered Trump country to get a better sense of how the president's supporters are feeling.
I think he's doing all right.
I think he's doing a great job. I think he's listening to the people, and I think he does what the people say.
So how do Donald Trump supporters feel about his handling of controversial issues? Let's start with immigration.
I don't think anybody wishes that anyone would have been killed, but the reality is that there's that situation that is developing in Minneapolis where ICE is trying to conduct their lawful duties. They have to do that. It's not optional for them.
The protesters are just idiots. I hate people get killed, but if you act like a fool, you get treated like a fool.
Those people were in these groups that were taught to go out and harass the ICE people. I mean, they're helping their communities be safer by getting those people out.
Oh, he's doing a fine job. He had to come in and straighten out a lot of mess.
Is there anything that stands out to you that you like most about what he's doing?
I like the fact that he can't be controlled.
When it comes to Canada, voters here view Trump's threats as a joke, and some are even aware of the Alberta separation movement. What do you think about how Trump has talked about Canada?
I think it's funny. I think he's doing it to get a reaction out of people. If you live in Alberta, I support you.
Oh, Alberta separation.
A lot of us down here refer to them as Snow Texas. They share a lot of the common values that I would associate with American values. Whether they want to be an independent state or if they wanted to join the union, then I would be cool with that.
Voters here who support Democrats tell us with everything that's gone on so far this year, it's only hardened their opposition.
It's very depressing and concerning, especially with all the corruption and the disgusting people he's pardoned.
We love Canada.
Yep.
That's all.
To Trump with the tariffs, you guys buy from somebody else, punish him for being an idiot. Thank you, Canada. We love you.
I never expected this, right? It's terrifying. You read about this stuff, you learn about it. It's part of history.
When does the time come that we rise up? We're looking at things that are happening in Minneapolis and Minnesota and around the country with ICE and the thuggishness and what I perceive to be nation fascism. Now, am I on the cusp of arming myself and rising up? No. But the fact that I asked the question is horrifying.
Trump just announced he wants a third term as president. Then he said he was kidding. He's not kidding. On July 24th, he put on a Trump 2028 hat and said he intends to run again. In 2024, he told supporters they would not have to vote again. Americans built their political values on egalitarianism. People are equal, and no one is born to rule over them. The opposite is hierarchy, where some people are better than others, and they should rule the lower classes who owe them obedience. A king is pure hierarchy, and the Americans fought England's King George III for 8 years to escape one-man rule. George Washington gave up power after 2 terms, though he could have ruled for life. That set a rule that the president serves only twice and then leaves. And then Franklin Roosevelt won 4 terms during the Depression and the war, when fear made Americans want a strong leader. After that fear passed, they made 2 terms the law, the 22nd Amendment. That amendment exists to prevent one-man rule. The question is whether it is enough to stop Trump. The country that fought a king now seems to want one. The full analysis is free on my Substack on Cultural Perspective. The link is in the bio.
In case this guy changed the constitution, would you vote for him? Thank you for watching The Mighty Great Minds Black. See you in the next video.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.